what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
So,
Has somebody been exposed?
Yeah. So speaking of Elizabeth Warren, she's been exposed. I mean, people have been talking more and more about her policies, her record, that she's like this wolf in sheep's clothing, that she's like this nice grandmother, but she's really disingenuous. And she's no Hillary, but she's really disingenuous. She is going around running as a progressive when she is definitely not. And her record shows that. So if you guys recall, Elizabeth Warren, with the whole working families thing, people were just like, this doesn't make any sense. Bernie won with 80-something% of the majority last time around. How did she win all of a sudden? Okay, so Elizabeth Warren's daughter, Amelia Warren Taegi, is a chairwoman of Demos, which is a liberal think tank. So according to Demos's 2018 tax filing, they gave $45,000 to the Working Families Party.
Oh.
And this was the very first year that they gave anything to them. And if you look now, she's been removed. But thanks to the Wayback Machine, you can see the truth. So first, Johnny, we can see here, if you go to the Wayback Machine, you go to May 2nd, you can see her name there as co-chair of Demos. And then we can also see here how it's still listed. She's still listed on her LinkedIn right there.
God bless the Wayback Machine.
And
you done been exposed.
Just as a reminder, Elizabeth Warren's daughter, this Amy, she was also co-founded Health Allies, a venture capitalist-backed health benefits firm, which was later acquired by United Health Group. Now, it's the second largest healthcare provider in the U.S. People are going to tell you, I know Lauren Steiner came back at us saying this isn't anything to do with health insurance, but the reality is it's absolutely to do with, it's a health insurance provider. It's one of these big insurance companies, and you can see that there. But the most important thing I want to show you guys here is the money. We always follow the money here. If you look at this chart, it just shows the tax filings. It just shows right there, Working Families Party, 15,000 here, right over here as well, where we circled, and that totals out to 45,000. So, you think it stops there, fam? It goes deeper.
I knew it would.
So, the Democracy Alliance is an organization that lists both Demos and Working Families Party as, quote, investments. And if you look on the website, you will find that Demos is on there with these pictures. Johnny, I have the pictures. Demos, and then you have the Working Families Party. And then the third one that they have, of course, is Center for American Progress.
Oh, there go that man again, Mr. Podesta.
So right there we see
Neera
exactly.
Tanden.
So why does Neera Tanden love Elizabeth Warren so much?
Oh.
I mean, this is okay. Like, you're going to tell me this is all a coincidence. Okay, let's just operate on the basis that this is all a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
But in addition to all of that,
yeah.
Warren's campaign treasurer, Paul Eggerman, is also on the board of Treasurer for Democracy Alliance, this same group. So if you look for him now, again, he's been removed. But if you use Time Machine and go back, he's on there. As of April 28th, 2019, there he is. He's the treasurer. He's also the treasurer for Elizabeth Warren's campaign. And what does this all mean, fam? Well, that the fix is in. Obviously, the Working Families Party was broke prior to this announcement, and so they needed the money. And of course, if we remember the other show we did the other day, people inside were claiming that they were broke and that they made them an offer with a lot of money and they weren't going to get that money unless Warren was endorsed. I mean, there is no, obviously, if I can find any more proof, I will put it out there. But at the very least, there is a conflict of interest with Warren's daughter and Warren's treasurer, and then these organizations, all of them being part of centrist think tanks as well. It is at the very least something that is just influential. And of course, Warren's daughter Amy was in a position to heavily influence where this money was going. Yeah. So that's a reality, and that can't be denied. Everything else, it's just, it's just obvious. I mean, we're never gonna have somebody say, oh yeah, this is what happened, blah blah blah. But this is the kind of digging that you do in order to find the truth, is usually follow the money. Always,
it.
always follow the money.
Yeah, and I'm not mentioning any names, but you can follow TYT where they got their money. I'm just throwing that out there and stuff. But Johnny even said the other day too. He was talking. He's like, a year ago they did this. Was it 2 years ago when they made these donations? And I was like, yes. They're not just nefarious. They are sinister. They play the long game. They know what they were doing. Elizabeth Warren was planned a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the breadcrumb trail that leads to all the you-know-what. Caught red-handed right here, giving them money, $45,000. And all of a sudden, Elizabeth Warren gets the nomination from the Working Families Party over Bernie Sanders. Excuse me one second. Oh, shit. I have to sneeze. It's all bullshit. There we go. We got the sound and alarm. You've been exposed.
And that's important for you guys to know. That's all I want to say. It's important for you guys to see the connections and like how these are centrist think tanks, centrist organizations. These are health insurance providers. Now we know Elizabeth Warren. I'm sorry, I can't trust her on Medicare for All. She herself has backed up. And then on top of that, cooperating and being so friendly with these think tanks that are centrist, like Neera Tanden centrist, neoliberal centrist. So
let's not forget the Center for American Progress was started by John Podesta. It was run by Neera Tanden. You don't want to be associated with these,
especially if you're out there running as a progressive and convincing people that you're pretty much Bernie Sanders.
Sleepy Fish, Sleepy Fish and Reese Mack, Hermes Conrad. We're going to get back to the show. We're going to have more Elizabeth Warren stuff to talk about because something came to light and some information on the show yesterday. We did some digging to make sure that I looked at it before, but I had to clarify some stuff, and I'm going to clarify it right now. Nina S., Tuleister, we said hi to you before. Aurelius Prime, not Optimus Prime, Aurelius Prime, PUA guy is on the MCSC
It's really
network.
weird, you guys. I just want to say check to see if you're getting notifications from us because usually we have a lot more people on than what we have on right now. And YouTube's been really I swear, censoring us. I know Nico posted about it on Twitter where it said we had 0 subscribers
Same
all of
thing
a sudden.
For us.
And then for us, it shows still 2,900 or 25,900.
It hasn't
but
moved.
We know it hasn't moved, but we know if you look at it from a different way, it shows a completely different number. And I don't know, just make sure you have clicked on the bell that you're getting notifications because I myself didn't get notification. If you're signed in individually, you should have gotten it.
I didn't get one. But that's not the first time that's happened. Listen, we all know that there's really some serious, sinister, and nefarious stuff going on with YouTube. It's owned by Susan Wojcicki. She's the CEO. Excuse me, not owned, but she's the CEO. Big-time Clinton donor. And progressive voices that speak against the establishment, libertarian voices that speak against the establishment, they're getting suppressed. And you're going to see more class action lawsuits come out there. They might not even monetize us if they weren't getting so much pressure.
Yeah.
And we really should do a story about the 50 out of 52 attorney generals that have joined together to have an antitrust investigation against Google, Facebook, YouTube, and all these other companies, Twitter. Guess which two didn't join the other two, the two attorney generals that didn't join the lawsuit? Alabama, number one, because they're going to never go after anybody with power. They never do. They always sit back, Alabama. And number two, would you believe it's California, fam? Because our attorney general, Xavier, he gets more money from Google and Facebook than he knows. So he didn't join the antitrust investigation.
Wow.
Armin Magunian, Diana's still over there. Brian Abrahamson.
Join our
Abramson.
YouTube if you can, on the CONVO couch if you can, to help us out.
Anna Echeverria. How do you say?
Echeverria.
No, Anna Achevo. I can't even say. Acevedo. I'm so bad.
Acevedo.
Anna Acevedo is there, and guess what? Ungi's here.
Hi, Ungi.
Hi, Ungi. We love you. Ashley, New
What's up,
Hampshire.
Ungi?
Rico Vasquez.
Stop saying New Hampshire. It's not New Hampshire.
Oh,
it's
sorry.
NH.
Ashley NH. Well, I say New Hampshire to remind you it's the second primary that's going on. Sorry. All right, so let's talk about this again.
Hold on, real quick. They're totally suppressing, as you can see, this website we use. It's called
live count.
livecounts.net. It's just stuck at 25,900.
6 days now.
Previously, last month, when we were growing from 2 to 12,000, this number was moving. And then here's the other page where it says here.
Didn't it say 2,600 the other day?
And even this went down. This
Yeah.
keeps going down. It doesn't go.
Yeah.
It hits like 25.
They're unsubscribing people too.
Yeah.
I mean, they are.
So make sure if you feel like you've subscribed to check if you've been unsubscribed.
Yeah.
Because we are doing a lot of kind of digging into people that they really like.
Yeah.
It's kind of coincidental that this is all happening. So.
And listen, go over to our Rockfin. That's the future. We got to get away from these people. They can't control us any longer. They can't suppress our voices. This is fascism on the left, okay? Because this is all the establishment people that own these companies, that run these companies. We need you to get over to Rockfin. We need you to get over there and say, let's break the chains. Let's break these chains up. Okay, we need to do it, though, but we need to get over there because it's all about cryptocurrencies. It's a way about telling the monetary system and Wall Street, F you, they can't control us any longer. And the bigger it grows, and blockchains are growing, the better we become, the less suppression. In fact, we're going to talk about where we're going to do the next debate now that Tulsi's made it, and where we're going to stream it from. Let's talk about the next subject, which is the same thing.
It's so
Remember the
hard.
old guy, same as the new guy. Remember the old girl, same as the new girl. And I just want to say, fam, that Warren is a candy-coated establishment Democrat parading as a Fugazi progressive.
Absolutely. And yesterday we were challenged by Lauren Steiner to say that the issue that Warren is a progressive, that she wanted to reinstate Glass-Steagall. But Pasta, tell me a little bit more about that.
So, my point was, why should we settle for a copy? Because that's what we were talking about when we brought this subject up. And I said this yesterday. Tulsi Gabbard wants to reinstate Glass-Steagall. Elizabeth Warren does not. First of all, is there any idea, fam? I want to talk about our history. Is there any idea that Elizabeth Warren has had that Bernie didn't have first? I mean, is there anything? Maybe something?
The consumer credit protection.
Okay, but Medicare for all. Who came up with that?
But that was actually sarcasm because it didn't do anything.
Didn't do shit. Symbolic.
But no, that's what I'm saying. No.
Medicare for all.
That was
idea?
all Bernie.
Student debt relief.
Bernie.
Affordable housing.
Bernie.
Income inequality.
Bernie.
Okay, so you can go down the list and all these ideas that Elizabeth, she's just a candy-coated copy is what I'm trying to say. Okay? Remember her in Venezuela? Because this also, not only that, the fact that she copies Bernie and everything, she's also one of the biggest flip-floppers in the field, especially when it comes to foreign policy. Here she is talking about Venezuela. Remember this? We had this Venezuelan video. Check it out. But then... I saw this on Elizabeth Warren.
We provide humanitarian aid. We make it clear that we know that Maduro is a dictator and does not have our support. We join our allies in supporting the opposition. We do not threaten military.
Okay.
Elizabeth, that's
So
She didn't just say he was a dictator. She said we join our colleagues in supporting the opposition,
supporting
which means
regime change.
Right, supporting the Guaido. And if you've seen anything from Anna Parampil, Gray Zone, all of these people, all of these journalists that have gone into Venezuela, Abby Martin, you understand that is extremely problematic. That is advocating for regime change. That is advocating for us to go in there and work actually against democracy and meddle into Venezuelan affairs.
Yeah. And she said before that she was against sanctions. That was her only statement. And then she just twisted everything. And she really did contradict herself right there. She says that, we don't support him. As we support the opposition, but we don't threaten military intervention. If you're supporting the opposition, you're giving them money and guns. It's military, young lady. You should know these things.
Not young lady, but
sorry. Well,
lady.
I had to say it because she's acting like a young lady over there talking at her. You know
that's
what?
kind of rude. I'm a young lady and I don't act like that.
Well, you're a smart young lady, not Elizabeth Warren. She's a bullshit BSer. Okay, so now we talked about Glass-Steagall, right? Okay, and I said this yesterday. Elizabeth Warren did not want to reinstate Glass-Steagall.
But somebody on our Facebook said Lauren is right.
I don't care what they said. Let her look it
tell
up.
me why.
Here, look right here. Senator Warren, McCain, Cantwell, and King introduce a 21st century Glass-Steagall. That's not the same as reinstating Glass-Steagall.
Right.
Okay? And what happened with Dodd-Frank? They sold Dodd-Frank as a financial reform bill. Oh, we got rid of Glass-Steagall, but loyalists, Barney Frank, comes up with this new bill, Dodd-Frank. And what did it
clears
do?
them.
It killed us. It did nothing. Okay, so they tried to sell this bill in the same way, but it didn't work. And you can see Dodd-Frank bill is no Glass-Steagall.
Right. It pretty much just cleared
It did.
the banks and Wall Street from anything.
The next clip, Johnny. It says Dodd-Frank is no Glass-Steagall, and I'm going to read a little bit from it real quick because I want to know the importance of reinstating Glass-Steagall is so important. The fact that Elizabeth Warren tried to do her own thing, a 21st, it got no support. It got very little support. And fam, have you ever heard of McCain being like a politician for the people, that he's going to fight Wall Street? McCain. She introduced the bill with McCain. Give me a break. Hearings revealed conflict of interest and fraud in some banking institution securities activities. A formidable barrier to mixing of these activities was then set up. That is how the Library of Congress described the run-up to the Glass-Steagall Act of 1933, which revolutionized, did I say that word? Yes. The U.S. financial sector for 6 decades by separating investment and wholesale banking. Nearly 80 years later, with Glass-Steagall long repealed. Guess who repealed it, fam? Bill Clinton. The backdrop to the last overhaul of the financial regulation was similar to the Depression-era days. The outcome, however, is markedly different. We need to reinstate Glass-Steagall. It was the benchmark for protecting investors since the 1930s. It was the biggest growth of the middle class that was created by the FDR New Deal program. And like I said yesterday, Elizabeth proposed a Fugazi bill that got almost zero support, while Tulsi Gabbard called for the action we really need. Okay? Here's her tweet. Plain and simple. Months later, after that bill got no support, Tulsi Gabbard came out and said Glass-Steagall separates commercial and investment banking, protecting consumers from risky Wall Street investments. It should be restored.
Period.
End of sentence. And then she once again introduced to reinstate Glass-Steagall. There's her boy Tim Ryan right behind her. Did he later on know he'd be a victim? But once again, this is what we need. And you're going to sit here and say, I don't care what somebody on Facebook says, you're going to sit here and say that she's championing this stuff when she hasn't even got behind the reinstatement of Glass-Steagall, the one major piece of legislation that held us all together? No.
And again, I know plenty of Occupy activists from back in the day, and they specifically always say what Elizabeth Warren did was just a front. It did nothing for people. It really didn't help them. And this is the one thing that people might mention when you ask them, why are you supporting Elizabeth Warren? And this is the one thing that they mention. Everything else is pretty much just platitudes. Like, oh, she's great. She did a lot of stuff for women, and she's blah, blah, blah. But it's not anything that is policy oriented, because she doesn't have that. She talks a good game, and I'll give her that. Again, when she starts speaking out against Wall Street and against bankers, but then at the same time, part of her team embodies those very same elements she says she's going to stand against, and she's taking the money. So how am I going to trust, even though she talks a great game, that she's going to actually follow through with all her plans when she isn't putting them into action? She's not, putting out legislation like Bernie does or like Tulsi does. Yeah. She's not putting out actual legislation. It's really great to have a plan, but tell me, why is your plan vague? Why is Medicare for all very vague? Why are you kind of pandering to Israel?
Yeah, because your owners are making you do that. They won't let you. They own you. And you think Wall Street would approve of her signing any bill that says that Glass-Steagall has to be reinstated? There's a reason why she went out and tried to do her own thing and then put the name on it. Oh, it's the 21st century. And I don't care if you want to argue that it was a good bill. We've heard it before. We heard it with Dodd-Frank. It didn't work. Why would you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We need a Glass-Steagall reinstated, period. And I'm not a financial wizard, but I know enough that I've been around this. We need Glass-Steagall reinstated, not a new bill, not a new Dodd-Frank, even if you call it the 20. And it's just typical Elizabeth Warren.
We have a super chat.
You got to read Mike Unkies because it's about Game of Thrones.
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. In terms of hardcore geeks can understand, E. Warren is Edmund Tully in a year when it will take the Blackfish to defeat Trump.
He's Edward Tully.
Damn, that's like deep Game of Thrones, Ungi. That's like, holy shit. I have to go back and analyze. I remember who he was and like the Blackfish. Who are the Blackfish?
The Blackfish were, remember the Blackfish were River Run, right? They covered
Yes.
River Run, and
Yes,
at
yes,
the very
yes.
end, like the Blackfish, the uncle, he would not give in to defeat Trump, but the nephew eventually gave in because the nephew was held captive.
But remember, didn't Khaleesi burn them down? Didn't she? Isn't that the one she burned?
No, that's the one where Jaime Lannister went out to go talk to him, and he eventually defeated the Blackfish.
Okay.
So whatnot. The Blackfish was the uncle. Remember when they were doing a funeral and they were shooting arrows and he kept on missing the fire as it goes? So the uncle grabbed it so disgraceful, like, you numb nut. And he took the arrow and he fired him first shot and he handed it to him. That's who the Blackfish were.
Hilarious.
Sleepy Fish, not the Blackfish, but Sleepy Fish gave us a $10 super chat donation. Go,
Thank you,
Tulsi.
guys.
She says, that's right. Tulsi's in the fourth debate. And
Tulsi's
it's
in, you
over.
guys.
Let me tell you
Tulsi's in.
something. The leadership today, you see this pin I'm wearing right here today?
Mm-hmm.
That's Shahid Buttar right there. That man is running against Nancy Pelosi. And I'm not going to agree with everything that Shahid does, but most stuff he is solid as can be. He's another one of my favorite candidates. We need to get behind this man and get rid of Nancy Pelosi. She got to go. And I'm not really happy with some of the people in the squad pushing for impeachment too. You're just doing it. You're just doing yourself an injustice. You're actually elevating Donald Trump. You're making him look like a victim.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Let's
we don't
do
really
that.
have anything on it, but I just wanted to point out, like, the majority of centrists and the majority of these centrist think tanks agree with impeachment. And when they do that, you have to kind of question as to why. Impeachment is a waste of time. I'm not in disagreement that Donald Trump needs to be held accountable, that he has done things that he should be held accountable for. I completely agree with that. I simply think that this whole impeachment talk, we've been talking about this since he's been in office, and it's gotten nowhere. And if they had something to impeach him on, they would have done it already.
What are they going to impeach him on?
Nancy Pelosi has her own reasons to not impeach because she is a bird of a different, type. But at the same time, I believe that impeachment, pretty much all it does, especially in regards to the whole Ukraine situation, all it does is kind of vilify and bring about new McCarthy attitudes towards Ukraine, increases tension with Ukraine, and then also pretty much makes his base happy because we're going after him hypocritically because Joe Biden and his son also had nefarious dealings with Ukraine with the Nazis. And also, if we are to impeach Trump, we'd have to impeach other presidents before him as well that have actually done things that, like Obama. And people don't like touching on Obama, but that's the reality.
Yeah. Cannabis Sativa says impeach him for the emoluments clause, not nebulous, I can't say, I'm sorry, it's nebulous Russiagate nonsense. You can read those, my man. You're better at that than me sometimes.
But they can't do that. Yeah. That's the thing. So
they won't do that because and then therefore their dirt's
right,
gonna come
exactly.
out. Nancy Pelosi is never going to let them impeach him on emoluments because she'll be set there. I mean, she's made over $100 million. And she's corrupt as can be.
That's why they won't impeach him on that alone, because then they would have to impeach themselves.
Exactly.
And a bunch of them.
Dianne Feinstein, okay? And Ghostwriter DOF says Fiorella is correct. Impeachment is a waste of time. I think it's a waste of time, too, as well. But Shahid Buttar says he wants to impeach him on emoluments. That's a different story, but they'll never let that go forth because there's so much dirty laundry. You're talking about Feinstein and Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all the stuff that they've done.
They're not going to let themselves go down for that. So when they tout impeachment, they're doing it as let's hate on Trump some more and let's rile up the Democratic Party against the right, and let's do all that's doing is further causing a divide. It is making Democrats look hypocritical. It is handing the election to Donald Trump. It is making his base feel that he's a victim. It is doing all of these things because they know that it's not going to happen. They know they're just playing with the public, and we lose because none of the issues are being discussed. We're in the middle of an election and nothing is being discussed.
Yeah. Jackson Fax says, I effing love you guys. You make life worth living.
Aw.
Keep fighting a good fight. We love you too, Jackson Fax. We always peek at your stuff.
Much
We're a
love,
subscriber.
Jackson.
Make sure you're a subscriber. to the Convo Couch. We see you on the MCSE network. Thank you for joining on in. We appreciate the work you do too as well. You're another mice, one of the mice squeaking against the avalanche with us, and that's why we love it. If you haven't checked out Jackson Facts, please do so. He's
How's
got
facts?
some awesome facts and awesome videos. Nicole Savagu just joined us, and Paul Bauman while we're getting ready to leave. Fam, that's all we have. What do we got coming on? Can we come on tomorrow? Are we going to do tomorrow? What do you say, tomorrow at 2? We got to check the schedules.
We got to check the schedules.
We got to
but
check
probably.
the schedules. Hopefully, we'll be back tomorrow around 2 o'clock. Thank you for joining in. Thank you all for your Super Chat contributions. Thank you for subscribing, even though YouTube's not counting your subscriptions as of late. We do also have a Twitter, a Facebook, a YouTube, and, of course, we're really pushing the Rockfin, R-O-K.
We're also on Twitch,
F-I-N.
and Pasta and Johnny are playing games, and I'm
Yeah.
going to start playing games and talking on their
Video
channel.
games we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right now. Okay, Johnny won the practice game last night in hockey. We got the new hockey. It's up. Johnny's up 1-0, but I got an overtime loss, so I still get a point, and I look forward to beating Johnny. And Sparky, the Long
Johnny
Island
says
Dragon, is coming out. Better watch out for Sparky, okay? Ashley NH, thank you so much for Pasta Jardula.
And Fiorella Isabel.
Johnny Sue is on the 1s and 2s still.
Awesome. Convo out.
Thank you.
Bye.